Hello everybody. Welcome to this quick little tutorial. I'm going to talk about some cinematics in Unreal 4. So I'll show you a way of doing this. So when you have like contacts with objects, it always is on point. You don't have to like calculate with you know, the location rotation thing. We're going to use the add level sequence, and inside that, we're going to have all of the characters and all of the objects that we need really spawn from there. And I'll show you after how to import all of this. Say you have like a chair, you have a character sitting on it, and he needs to, I don't know, maybe touch this part here. In order for this to be a pinpoint exactly on the chair, you need to kind of export the whole environment into Maya, which is here, um, and then animate the character around that environment. So I'll show you how to do this the right way, we'll say. So first thing is, um, in Unreal, you have the add level sequence, and this is to call the sequencer, which is the cinematic tool for Unreal 4. So let's just dive into that. So let's say I want to make a add level sequence. You gotta save the file somewhere. So I already have a folder here called cinematics. Let's call this sin for cinematics test 01. Let's save this. This creates a kind of like a cinema tool looking, how we say in French, claquette. kind of the kind of this is the icon you have. All right, so let's say that my animation is happening not here, but somewhere like in the level, somewhere far away, somewhere like here. Oh, look at that. How convenient. We have a chair already here. So let's say we have some kind of animation going on here. So you take this little sin or this icon of the sequencer, and you want to bring it close to where your cinematic is going to be rolling around. So it doesn't have to be like exactly like on the floor or on the object. It just needs to be around the area. So the reason for that is once we're gonna call the characters, they will be spawning out of this. So like you see the location here, this is the coordinates where every object is located in the world, and you have like a center of the world, which is somewhere around here. I don't know which one. Let's take let's take the table just to find the center. So we have this, and let's just put this on zero. Put it on zero. So this is our center for this world, right? So everything is on zero zero here. Now, when you have a cinematic, this if I click like the floor, for example, or the chair, you see the numbers, they are really far. And when you're gonna animate the characters always are around zero zero, right? So this is where you have the sequence file. This will be our center for this cinematic. So everything will spawn out from this little uh, object, and they will turn around that little sequence file. So when you have your sequence file, you always want to kind of organize your stuff. So I made a folder here, cinematics. So let's just put that in there. And we're gonna have our folder. Everything cinematic related will be inside here. Okay. Now if you double click this, you're gonna have like a window pop up like this, sequencer. And in here, you will be putting everything that will be used in your animation. So for now, we're gonna be just like using our character. I'm assuming you already have your character exported and imported in Unreal, so we're not gonna be covering that. We're gonna dive directly inside, assuming you have it here. So I'm gonna use the Unreal mannequin, so this guy. And what you want to do is you have a few ways of doing it. You can put them directly in the world, like you can put them like that, or better yet, you can put them inside here so it becomes like a spawnable object. So if I drag it in here, you see there's like a lightning bolt. So this item is spawned by sequencer. So whenever you press play, he will spawn out from here, from like from this location. All right. So that way you don't have to like. Sometimes you want them to have in the world. So like if I do it like this, you see, when you do that, you need to put them under the sequence file, and then you want to put everything on 0, 0 here. So that way the character he's gonna be exactly on the sequence file uh, world space, you know. So this is kind of like the center. We can also call it the center scene. This is the scene, and this is gonna be the center. So the character is gonna be on the center scene of this scene test 01. So you can do it like that, and then you can like right click and then add actor escape mannequin here. But this time he's not a spawnable. You see, there's no lightning. He's part of the world. So whenever this animation is gonna be finished, he'll remain there. But this one, if the animation is done and we close the sequence file, then everything becomes despawns. So there's two ways of doing that. Uh, we can use like either, but I'm gonna use this the spawnable one. So we'll just delete this guy, and we can get rid of him. And when you have a spawnable, you see he appears here. He just like he's there in the world. If I close this, he's not there anymore. So I'm gonna open my sequence file. Every time I open it, you see he appears here. You can also put it like that. It doesn't matter. You know, it's the same thing. So like there you go. He's gonna be always spawning from that. But if I close this, I open it again, he'll be just like inside that folder. So basically, he will appear over there, like on his the world 00 space, like 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 here. So let's now let's do like let's see how to call the animation if I wanna like use this location here. So what we need to do is first we need to obviously when you start a game, you always need to make sure everything is kind of more or less done in the engine. So you can have a basic layout like that, and the environment artists after they can finish working around this. But the general objects are for cinematics needs to be there before. So kind of like the chair in this test and the floor. That's all we need. And the most important is we need this, the syntest01. So we need to export all of this into a FBX format and then import this into Maya. So select everything you need, including the center scene, and we're gonna go File and Export selected. I'm just gonna copy my scene here. Let's see, my files, Project Convo. You know, so I'm gonna put it like somewhere here. This is my project location. So we can call this. Actually, we can leave it like that, or we can to be organized. You can call it like scene, test 01. This is gonna be your cinematic, and then you're gonna have a bunch of other cinematics here, like that. And then here, this is gonna be our scene test layout. So layout or environment or whatever. This is just like your blueprint for this location. So we're gonna save this. I'm gonna put the latest FBX. We don't need the collisions. We don't need this. We just need a simple geometry. So animation, you don't need that stuff. So just keep it like that, simple. Just the mesh. Bam, export. Nice. So now I'm using the Unreal Mannequin guy. So let's say you have your character open already. You need to import then your environment into here so you can start animating. So you go to File, Import, and then my folder here, Syntax01 and Layout. So you're gonna do like this. You select Import, and then what happens? We have the environment is exactly in the same place where we have the environment in Unreal. But this time, what we're gonna do is to simplify our animation. I'm using Maya, but this applies to any other software for animation. The logic is the same. So you have the scene test. Oops, so I'm just gonna zoom out a bit. So you have this scene test center scene. You have the floor and you have the chair. You take everything related to your environment and you kind of want to hierarchy it under the center scene. So now, like everything is here, I can put everything to 0. Oh, like this, 0, 0, 0, everything 0. And everything is going to be now kind of the center of the world, so it's easier to animate. Because if we would have kept where they were and instead bring the character over there, you'll have like a massive compression going on. Every time you have a character going away from the center of the world and you import it in a game engine, there's a sort of compression happening, and you want to avoid that. So that's why you kind of want to bring it always closer to the center of your software, animation software. So that's why doing this way, you're sure that whenever I'm going to export my animation, it's going to be always resolving around the center of the cinematic, because this synth and here, for him, this is the center of the world for this animation. It could have been anywhere, and wherever it is, like so. uh, Once you do that, you don't want to move it, but like say you have it here or you have it there, you always need to export this with the environment. So once you export your environment, you got to make sure that this thing doesn't move. It's very important, because if you move this a little bit, that means the animation that is being called from here will also follow him, right? So you don't want it, you want it to stay there as is. So now let's do a quick test. I'm gonna bring my character like say like this. I'm gonna put him on the chair here, something like that. Quick little test. Do do do. So sit down. One thing I forgot to do is I like to put everything on 0 like that, and you got to make sure you're in 30 FPS like so. I have some other keys. Let me just clean this thing up. I forgot to clean it. Sorry, guys. Let me just remove this. Okay, so he sits here, and his arms and his hands are gonna be, just for test purposes, are gonna be put on the chair like so. So to simulate that we have contact, let me just put this guy in here like this. Bam. Let's do the same here. So it's not tutorial for how to animate, so this is more like how to set up your animation like this. So I'm gonna do like super triple A quality animation here. We're gonna be spending more than 10 minutes on this tutorial otherwise. All right, let's put this like that. Bam. All right, so he has this kind of weird little thing going on. It's just like a I don't know. All right, let's not make it perfect. Let's just open it like a bit like that. Key all of the controls, and let's just do a quick loop of him like head banging or something. You know, bam, 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 bam. Oops, Jesus. He's gonna do like this. I'm gonna select all the keys, doom, doom, and then I'm gonna go over here. Actually, let's put it 30, like so. Oops, 30, 30. Key everything. Bam. So key copy paste. So I'm using the middle mouse to drag and then press S to copy paste. All right, so we have a little loop. All right, we have the animation. Cool. We have the hand contacts. Let's make it kind of precise just to show what's happening here. We can also use the fingers. Oh God, this is just a visual glitch on this guy. Okay, like this. Delete this. Sorry, put it here. All right, there we go. So now let's export this guy. We select the bones. and we export the animation. Export. This time I'm gonna put it inside my FBX export just to keep things clean. So all my export stuff are gonna be here, and I need to bake the animation. So make sure it's in Z up. So let's call this sin test 01, and then we're gonna call this mannequin. So you might have many characters, you know. So if you wanna, in your cinematic, you will like give the name of the cinematic, then the title, the number, and then your characters here. So export. All right, awesome. Now let's go into Unreal cinematics here. Let's just import it right here. So let's go into our FBX export, open, and select your mesh, the mannequin guy. Export time, okay. Import. So we're gonna have this. It doesn't matter. And let's see what we have. So okay, so he does his thing, and you know the if you look at the animation, he's around the center of the world. So he's not exactly on 0, 0. He's somewhere offset it. So now let's go inside our test here, and let's put this animation like that. So we have scene test mannequin, bam, like this. So now you see the character, he's nowhere to be seen because he is being called over here. He's he's here now. This is why when you do this, you gotta make sure that he's under the cinematic sequence like that. And then here you put it on 0, and once you do that, he's gonna be snapped exactly around that center. And you see his hands. Look at this. They are perfectly aligned. So if I'm just gonna make this exactly on 30 frames, like this, and then we're gonna make it loop. So we have the guy doing his thing. That's pretty much it, you know. You have to make sure that your characters are always being under the cinematic. A spawnable object, the problem with that is when you close it and then you open it, they will still be kind of like, outside. And when you're gonna play, they will go back over there. So it just there's a spawn. You can do like that. What is this? So this is to spawn on spawn. This is where you kind of like you can click this, key it, and then unspawn him. So you can have that. But every time you have a spawnable, you need to like put them back in there and do this. Or better yet is you can also make a hierarchy of this kind of. Let me see. Let me show you. Where is the other guy? So mannequin mesh. So you do it like that. You put in a test. Make sure that this guy is gonna be on 0, 0. You dump him in here. Add man so you have the other mannequin. This time around, if you do add the animation, it's gonna be exactly on the same spot. So let's delete this. He's always gonna be here. So if you close this guy, he will be in the world, but you can unspawn this whole thing using the like the blueprint stuff. So this is for another. Like you can make them spawn, appear when you play the cinematic, and then when the cinematic is done, you kill them. You unspawn these guys. So that way, they will always gonna be on the right spot. So yeah, they will exist in the world, but you need to hide them in your blueprint when you do your cinematic. So if I call this again, bam, they will always go back into the right location. So let me know in the comments below if you guys have a different way of doing this. That's pretty much it. I hope this helps everyone, and yeah, have a good, awesome day. Peace.